Good morning, everyone. It's Facebook Live. It's new every morning, and it's a beautiful morning. The snow that we got earlier this week is starting to melt because the temperatures have come up here in Central West Virginia. Don't know what your situation is, but it is another beautiful day, and I'm excited about the information I have for you today, as I am every day. Good morning, everyone. Let's bring down the music. Yes, I do everything here. I talk, I prepare all the information, I run the music. I do it all. Good morning, Sue. Nice to have you along. It feels kind of different at 7:30 since I did yesterday at 6:30. So we'll see how many morning warriors we have this morning. If you are out there, shout out. I love live. Love live interaction. It is December 10th. That's 15 days from Christmas. It is coming. I'm excited about Christmas. I'm excited about today. So anyway, hope you are too. I got some interesting stories today, I think. But I want to say something before we get too started. This is podcast 37. I've been doing this for 37 times today. And so I'm just curious about what type of information you guys want to hear. I do a lot of different things. I do stories that are like happening right now. I do stories about the history. I do things from different parts of the world. I do some things from the Bible and some of my own personal experiences and my own personal position. And I want to hear from you about what kind of information you would like. Because I want to grow this podcast. I want to grow this Facebook Live. And to do that, I need to meet the needs of my audience. And I want you to like it enough that you will share this with your friends so that they get an opportunity to see it. And of course, it grows the audience because, the audience needs to grow. I have a goal set for 50 podcasts, and we'll see if I get there. I'm not going to share the goal with you, but I will just say that the audience needs to grow. So I want to give the audience the content they're looking for. So if you have any thoughts on that, whether you watch this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, go ahead and post your comments. I go back every evening, virtually every evening, but I go back sometime and look at the comments that are posted, because usually when I get off of this at 7:45 or thereabouts, then I've got a busy morning. I'm making things happen. I'm not always able to look at things right away. But good morning, Tom. Nice to have you along. Haven't talked to you in a few days. So anyway, let's get started. That's the introduction. So anyway, so Wednesday at midnight, which has already happened for some people because this is in Australia. The world's first child social media ban went into effect down under. Okay, so Australia is blocking children age under 16 to accessing 10 major platforms on social media. They include TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, things that you guys are now. Of course, this is you're familiar with those, or at least have heard of them. You may not be using them all, and I don't use them all. But, you've probably, if you live in the United States, and you probably have heard of those. Now, there's going to be millions of people affected by this, millions of, young people affected by this. And the law places responsibility on the companies instead of the families and platforms. I don't know. That's a debate for another time. But they are putting the responsibility on the platforms to keep those people off. So they must, basically the companies must demonstrate that they are trying to, reasonable steps, whatever, to keep underage people off of those social media. So I will follow that story. I'm curious how that works out for Australia. And since that's the first country in the world to do that, everybody's going to be watching that to see how it works out. Because I think there will be a trend at some point on controlling social media for younger people. Now this next thing is from Natural Medicine, and it's a research that was published there, and this is pretty interesting and pretty exciting for some people because this is a young person story as well. A single dose gene replacement therapy is able to improve the movement in children between from 2 years to teenagers with spinal muscular atrophy. Now, it is allowing these children who could sit but could not stand up to move like never before. Okay, and it's a simple surgery, a simple replacement therapy, as I understand. Now, this trial has been going on. They had 126 children were able to that were not were able to sit but not stand up, and now never been able to walk on their own before. Now that for the first time in their life, they can stand, they can walk. Some of them are even able, and maybe all of them are even able to climb. So this is a major breakthrough. If this study carries through, it'll be really interesting to see that these kids are being given an opportunity to walk for the first time through this therapy. So that'll be an interesting story to follow. And, it's very encouraging that the trial showed great success in that area. So in Bolivia, the largest number of dinosaur footprints ever recorded in a single spot is yielding some fascinating insight for them. How these prehistoric animals moved, that bones could never show us, by having footprints. 16,600 footprints formed dozens of trackways, and they've been able to document this. It was there like a muddy waterway that was preserved. Now, if a skeleton can show you what a dinosaur could do, tracks can actually show what it actually did by following it and seeing its. There's all kinds of things you can learn from tracks. If you're a hunter and you've ever tracked anything, there's a lot of things you can learn from the tracks, just not where it's going. So that's pretty impressive. I don't know how important that is in the big scheme of things, but it's kind of neat that they found some of that stuff and maybe learn a little bit more about dinosaurs. So I love this story. Millie Haywood found herself out of place growing up, and not until good morning, Sherry. Not until she was 21 years old, she was diagnosed with autism. 21 years old before she was diagnosed, and now she's a year later. She's changing things for people. She has launched. Are you ready for this? Mentally Unstitched. Okay, that's a line of sensory-friendly hoodies and weighted fabric meant to calm anxiety and stimulate like a hug. I haven't seen these things, okay, but the company is Mentally Unstitched. She started it. She's wanting to make a difference for people that are going through things that she went through coming up in life. And so this is her quote, which I love. I really hope I can inspire people with my designs and with my story that, what's different makes you stronger. That was her quote. So Millie, good job of trying to change things in our society. And, that's always neat. I talk on here all the time about how, you may not be able to change the world, but you can change somebody's world. And that's what Millie's trying to do. She's not going to change everyone's world, but she can change some people's world. And like the story about the gene therapy, that's not going to change the whole world. But can you imagine being a child and being able to walk for the first time because of this therapy? That would be, they're changing people's lives, and we're all changing people's lives. We live right now in an unusual time. This times, I've been around for a while, and the times right now are different than I can remember. And one of the reasons they're different is there is a spiritual stirring going on in our country. Now, there may be somebody watching this in another country, and I don't know what's going there. But in our country, I'm seeing a spiritual stirring. And, God has allowed this change for a reason. This is not a coincidence. This is not just happenstance. God's allowing this to change. And, God's Spirit is making this change. And so, for examples, the young people can turn around their own high school. And I know locally that's happening, in other places that's happening, where the young people in the school are changing the school and change it forever. Fathers and mothers can come to a turning point and change their family. Like I said all the time, you may not be able to change the whole world, but you can change somebody's world. And sometimes it's your children and the people around you. Employees, can spark change in their workplace. You're not going to change the workplace as a whole, but you can change people there, and you might be able to change it as a whole. That's certainly happened in the past. And so, employers can spark that in where they're working. And, I guess I should say, we just don't have a lot of time to waste. There's just not a lot of time to waste. We must reach people before it's too late. And so I'm challenging you again today, like I do many days, to go out and change the world, your part of the world. Like I said, you may not change the whole world, but you can change the world for some people. Be a blessing. I've said this and I'll quote it again and I'll say it over and over. The best way to get a blessing is to be a blessing. That's my experience anyway. And so go out and make a smile at someone that needs a smile today. Go out and talk to someone that needs someone to talk to. Just simple stuff. There's so many people that just want, hey, how you doing? Just simple stuff. Now, sometimes that will turn into more serious stuff if the person's ready for that. Maybe they just need a simple thing, a smile, a hi. I don't know. Every situation is different, but I know that you, along with me, can change people's lives. We can have a part in that. And so today I challenge you, smile at people, be a blessing, see where it leads. It may lead to something unbelievable. All right. So listen, you guys have a great day. It's new every morning, and that comes from God's love. And for people who don't know, that's a saying out of the Bible in Thessalonians. But anyway, have a great day. I will be back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. I know some people have told me that I've said 7 a.m., which is what I used to do. 7:30 is what I'm now doing. I'll be back here tomorrow with some more news. But please, 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 if you have some thoughts about the type of information you'd like, if you want more of this, if you want more of that, if you want less of this, all thoughts are appreciated. Just put them in the comments section anytime today, and I will try to adjust this because I want this podcast to grow. Like I said, I've guaranteed 50 podcasts. This is 37, so it's winding down to 50, and I've got a goal to reach by 50 to continue to do live every morning. I may still do some lives. I may do them every morning if this continues to grow. So anyway, be blessed. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Bye-bye.